What's up, folks? I hope you're well. Today I'm in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, Canada. Just gonna get up and drive around. I tell you, when in Rome, you always hear about these places, and I've had a Tim Hortons in Pennsylvania, but not in Canada. So I'm gonna get coffee this morning. I'm at Tim Hortons. So if you've never had a Tim Hortons coffee, it's actually pretty good. Now, the people who live here in Canada are probably immune to it. It's just like Dunkin' Donuts in America and all that stuff. But it's a good cup of coffee, and we're gonna have us a Tim Hortons. So, when you're in Canada, you get you a Timmy's. I don't know if they pronounce it like that. Get you a Timmy's. Yeah, eh? Get you a Timmy's. That's it. Timmy's, eh? But I just passed that Canadian Tire I always see on Chrome Valdez's videos. So that must be like the version of Walmart. But it's like right next to, they've got a Walmart here, and then there's some Atlantic Superstore. There's a lot of different types of stores here that are different. Big box stores. For as small as this area is, it's a lot of shopping and a lot of things. Plenty for these people, man. They don't do without, that's for sure. So, but I'm going to ride around here in Yarmouth, and I want to see what I get myself into here today. And that's what we're here for, to explore a little bit. So, that we're going to do. So I'm going to tell you something that's amazing. This size cup of coffee is an extra large. It's the same size extra large as Dunkin' Donuts that I paid for yesterday in Maine, which was about $3.50, $3.60 for a cup. This, my friends, was a damn good cup of coffee. Actually, probably better than Dunkin'. $1.68 US. It was $2.28 Canadian. Amazingly, some things in Canada are a little bit cheaper than America, and a cup of coffee is one. Something about their creamers and this coffee, I don't even have any sweetener in it. It's actually good. I can't explain it, but I don't know. They make their creamer maybe a little more fresh in Canada. They don't process it. I was pouring some into my cup at the hotel last night, and it's different. I actually like it. It's pretty cool. Not even sure if you could read that. That's the Fish Point Memorial Site. Look at this view. And that is the Cape Fortune. It's where we're going to go here. So you can see some whales at that point. I'll tell you, folks, the weather is just absolutely beautiful up here in Canada. It's chilly this morning. I think it was like 56 degrees, a little bit colder than where we live in Charleston. It's about 80 degrees and humid as can be. Temperatures getting up into the 90s. Still doing that for a few more weeks down south. But gosh, it's so beautiful and calm out here. You see that lighthouse behind me? That's Cape Fortune back there. I want to go back there at the point because they say that so you can see some humpback whale. You might can do a little whale watching. It's pretty cool. But just stop this supposedly this little historical site. It's something historical in Canada. It's called the Fish Point Historical Site. I have to read up on it a little bit, but it's just beautiful. It's so quiet out here and calm. It's amazing. For small as this area is, there are some really quiet, nice places to Canada. Like I say, these guys, they live quiet and peaceful, and I will give it to the Canadians all day long. A lot of them, most of them. Some of you chime in, you might disagree, and that's okay. I can learn a thing or two, but I've come across nothing but actually very nice and polite people here in Canada. And there are a few that are, I was on the ferry yesterday. A guy was a bartender. He was a little weird or a little shrewd. But you're going to have people like that everywhere you go. I don't think, it doesn't matter where you go. But correct me if I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm wrong, and if you're French Canadian, forgive me on this, but someone had told me that Canadians don't really get along with French Canadians. Is that true? Now, I've met a French Canadian. It's like being from France. He's pretty hardcore. He was pretty tough. He came down to Charleston there, and we were sitting at a bar years ago, a buddy of mine and I, in Somerville, and he was, I kept asking, is that guy sober or is he drunk? he was hitting on every girl in the bar and being rude. And I mean, just, I don't know, like he was better than somebody else. I don't know. Maybe not. Some people in general, no matter where you go, can be like that. But chime in and correct me if I'm wrong on that. And if you're French Canadian, forgive me on that. I don't know. You might be some of the most wonderful people in the world, and that's okay. That's another part of Canada I need to visit there in Quebec, I believe it is. So, no disrespect to you. But people would say that, like, we don't get along with the French Canadians. And I'm like, why? You know, why is that? But anyway, I'm going to move on up the road here and go over here to this point here in Cape Fortune, and I want to go see what's going on, because the ladies at the hotel last night said, go over there to the point and hang out. It's beautiful. Hey, when in Rome. Right behind me is the Cape Fortune Lighthouse. I'm at the furthest point of Cape Fortune here. That's your Atlantic Ocean and the bay going out. I'll tell you what's so cool here, man. It's so quiet. You don't see a lot of big commercialized houses here. And you see people living in tiny homes, which is cool, on the ocean. People just want to live quiet out here, and I think it's so cool. It really is. They say this point right here at night, on a good clear night, is one of the best places in the world to sit. I say one of them because there's a lot of them. If you like to look at the stars and you get the most clear sky that you'll ever get, is here. Someone at the hotel last night said, do you go out to Cape Fortune at night? It's not that far. And you get your telescope, or you can stand there and you can see probably the clearest of skies you've ever seen in your life. And some people say, well, it's because there's not a lot of light, which is definitely. He says, well, it's because there's not a lot of pollution in there. Well, that's probably the case too. I mean, you don't have a lot of smog, you don't have a lot of traffic. Yeah, you're going to clear air. I mean, big difference from all this hype of people talking about global warming, which, be careful before you get caught up in that stuff with this whole global warming thing, folks. I want you to think about something with the whole global warming thing. Everything they talk about global warming, things happen that are the complete opposite of it. And someone told me one time that's an amazing scientist, who said, I want you to think about something. The Earth's distance from the sun changes every year and throughout the year. If you notice how some years it's warmer than others or colder, some years they don't get snow and they do, well, that's out of our control. You can't control that. Now, in your environment of, your skies and all the smog and stuff, yeah, I would assume that you could prevent that. I mean, I've lived in Los Angeles for a year, and it gets bad thick out there, and you can see it, man. It's nasty. But out here, the air's clean and crisp. I could get where such a beautiful sky, things you see is unbelievable. So I'm going to go to the point, walk, see this lighthouse, and I think it'd be so cool. I just spoke to some people from North Carolina, which is pretty cool. We were talking about lighthouses. But they say the lighthouse is closed today. I hate that. I would love to go up the top of it. I went to the one outside of Beaufort, the state park there. Still, to this day, I've never been able to climb the lighthouse in Sullivan's Island out of Charleston. And I think my cousin went up it years ago when she was young. Back when it was a lot easier to get up there before 9/11. I think they secured that. Apparently lighthouses are a security risk too, folks. But we're going to climb up these steps. They say it's an absolutely beautiful view up on the deck up here. Cape Fortune. It's beautiful. We got a lighthouse. It's beautiful. That rock is gorgeous. Looking in the window of this lighthouse, That's a narrow climb, man. The steps are, that's a small, you can't have 2 or 3 people passing each other at once on those steps. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera, but I could see him standing here. If you listen closely, you can hear the wind whistling through the opening of that lighthouse up there. It's amazing. So she was telling me about this at the hotel last night, and this is the skeletal remains of Foggy, the fin whale. Apparently they had rescued him a few times, but he didn't quite make it, so this is what was left of his skeletal remains. God, you look at a vertebra of a whale, and this is not even a big one. Look at that. It's fossilized like rock. Look at that. That is crazy. Look at his whale bones in the back. Rib bones. I guess that's about all the ones they could salvage. That is crazy, man. I guess that's his tail or something. I don't know what that is, but here's his head. And I can tell you folks, a whale probably would swallow you whole. It's crazy, but it's real skeletal remains of a whale. Good old Foggy. I guess he was a cool whale. Who knows? He may not have been. This is the walk up to the point. I guess it goes circles around. It's pretty. Is a tidal pool, which is pretty cool. I guess when the tide rises, it changes level back and forth, and the tide comes in, feeds water into it. But a little exhibit said some of these things growing over there you could eat. Yeah, I don't think I want to find out unless I know for sure. That looks like goldenrod, and I promise you, we won't eat that. But it's not really goldenrod. Apparently it's called Scotch lovage, seaside parsley, as they call it. Interesting. And it's everywhere. It's like a seat built from a crab cage. It's pretty cool. One thing we don't have in our beaches down south is rock like this. It's beautiful. It's pretty cool. You can tell you're in the northeastern part of the world, in North America. So one thing you may see, and I'll get some images of it, is that this is a real big fishing community, huge historically for Canada, and you'll see it. And a lot of people live in tiny homes. You don't see a lot of big houses, as I said earlier here. You see small homes. You see people that live here and they want to live quietly, and that's okay. They don't like to be bothered. And it's good that people come out here and not, hopefully in the summertime, it's not too annoying. Tourist season is pretty much to a halt here. It's coming to a halt because school's back in and everything, which is good. That explains the fair yesterday was less than half capacity, which is good. But it's quieter. This is about the best time to come out here before it starts really getting cold and the weather changes. But yeah, good time to come. It was quiet, and I'll see if I get some pictures of really cool tiny houses that I saw. Speaking of tiny homes, as you may know, if you don't know, go watch those videos where I built my house and how I did it, and my RV stuff, my travels. But we will, I'll see if I get some pictures of those houses on the way back in. It's pretty cool. It really is. Look at that. folks are living in RVs on the waterfront. That's as oceanfront as it gets. Tiny home living. I'd love to put my house on a point like this. It's pretty cool. There's your tiny houses. You see that out here. It's pretty cool. I think it's awesome. And I don't know if it's a rental for Airbnb or people live there full time, but it looks to me like somebody lives there full time. And it's real cool. Look at that. That is so cool. See the shipping container for storage and stuff. That is so cool. That's how you live, folks. I love it. Well, if someone does this, it says the Campbells. That's pretty cool. So if the Campbells are watching, didn't mean to invade your privacy, my friends. Your house is cool. It's pretty cool coming out of Cape Fortune here, and this is a fishing community here. You do see some houses that people are living off grid too, which is real cool. It's sourcing their own water for things. They let you do that here. They're not real restrictive like they are in America. So this is your Cape Fortune fisheries, and this is commercial fishing. These guys, it's big business here. But you can see all this stuff. It's so cool. All the crab, lobster cages and the fish cages. That's pretty cool. Look at all those fishing buoys or floats.
And have fun. Keep safe.
Well, we got here. So we
That's a good song.
Work huts.
Nice piece of head. Oh, thank you.
Little houses.
These are old. They don't use them anymore.
They don't? Okay.
But the other ones, they'll haul them out in November.
Okay.
They'll anchor them, and the water will be right up to the top of those steps. And that's where they store their crates of lobsters, right in the water.
Oh, wow. So that's, I saw them like the crates, the cages up under the thing, so they go out and then they'll float them back in.
Yeah, those are what here we call those lobster cars.
Lobster car. Oh,
so
cool.
the fishermen will talk about hauling their lobster cars out.
So
there you go.
Folks, this is David. How you pronounce your last name, David?
Hey, folks, it's David Bashara, and welcome to Nova Scotia. Welcome to Yarmouth.
Yes.
And I'm glad you came here to Yarmouth Bar. We've got the buoy wall behind us. We've got the beautiful lighthouse down the road. And it's a place where people love to talk and engage just like we all should.
Absolutely, like what we were just talking about. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's good to meet you, David.
Pleasure talking to you too. And I can't wait to go to Charleston, South Carolina.
Yes, man, I'll tell you, got to
and
come
Savannah.
down there. Yeah, you know, Myrtle Beach is real touristy. You gotta say, tell people it's all good, but come to Charleston, maybe go for a day there and the day down south of Savannah and see it, because Charleston's kind of the center point.
Meet the real people.
I don't know. I've met so many
raw history
and the food. Yeah, absolutely.
Of everything. Exactly.
You know, I've met a lot of nice people, Canadians. I always say that there's a spring or a well or some water somewhere in Canada. The most talented people I've ever met in my life is in Canada. It's the nicest people. So
remember what I said.
Yes,
that
sir.
I want the people of the United States to know how embedded they are in us Canadians.
That is cool.
And that the United States is our big brother, and
yes, sir.
It means everything to us, and the history. And like I said, the old movies, everything in terms of what came out of all the goodness that came out of the United States, that still continues to come out of the United States, we still embrace it. And we still respect it and appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
We'll leave the negative stuff behind.
Absolutely, leave the press off. Let's get our head out of the media, folks. We'll just get out and talk to people. That's what you'll find out. Thank you, sir.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So my friends, that was David Bashara, nicest guy. I just happened to be standing there and he was showing some people of these crab huts, as they called them, and how he explained it. It was very cool. And such a great history here in Yarmouth with fishing and seafood industry, which is their livelihood here. It's so cool. And he's like, you know, I just trying to preserve this, man. They call that buoy wall out there. It's so cool. Such a nice guy, man. See, that's what I always say, man. Get your head out of the media and go talk to people. You'll see how less divided and how wonderful people are in the world. Yeah, you're going to have people that are assholes. You just walk away from it. You know, it is what it is. But that's what makes the trip, my friends. Indeed, it does. Yeah, as I was saying to David back there must be some sort of a spring or a well or special water that the Canadians drink, because I want some of that water if they can, because they're the most talented people in the world come out of Canada. And an amazing work ethic. Just, I've met good people here. And there are good people everywhere. But as he said, that was my point I was trying to make to him. That is, find that spring water. I'll drink that all day long. That's pretty cool. So that it is. I have to give it to you Canadians. Y'all are something else when it comes to talent. Roll back by Tim Hortons for another coffee. This place is like the Chick-fil-A of Canada, man. It's a line of cars. People are lined about the door. Oh my Lord. Tim Hortons is if you build it, they will come. That's for sure. Must be good coffee, folks. So one thing I'm learning here is so cool here. I went back to Tim Hortons. That's a good cup of coffee. I'm learning about their creamer, man. I don't think up here the creamer is processed like it is in America. And the guy said it's 18% creamer is what it is. And I would want to know in the States where to get that. More about that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's a good cup of coffee. She goes, they put a shot of espresso in there with that decaf. It's the creamer that makes a difference. That I don't have to put stevia or a lot of sweetener in it, which I can't drink unsweetened coffee. It's tough. But this is just a good cup of coffee, and I got to give it to that, man. That's things you learn about that creamer, man. I need to find out more about that. But anyway, I digress on that with coffee. Digby is about an hour from here, and they said it was another place to go, which is cool. And then I think he said the Acadia Villages, somewhere off of downtown. We need to find out more about that. So, but we're gonna venture downtown and see what else I can get into and just go look around. Coming down the hill to the town of Digby on Water Street. That's beautiful. Digby. So I'm in Digby, which is up the coast going towards Halifax, about an hour from Yarmouth. Beautiful bay here, man. Sorry about my hand. You go back out that way, it goes towards Briar Island. It's another hour's drive. However, I think there is a ferry that you can take, and it can take you out there if you want to do it. But I'm going to go through town here a little bit and hang out for a moment. See the sights. You can tell this is a fishing community just like Yarmouth. I mean, it's amazing. It really is. As you can see all the boats over there. It's definitely a fishing community. Digby is famous for their scallops. They say the Digby scallops. They say everybody should have them when they come to town. I bet they are good though. School's back in, I see. That's a trip. I don't know what's going on there. Canadian post offices. This is your Annapolis Basin, Bay of Fundy area. It's beautiful out here. And this is your harbor port area. Fishing port, which is pretty cool. Part of Digby. And there is a ferry, I believe, that goes out towards Briar Island and all that. One thing you're gonna see a ton of, and that's these, everywhere you go over here. And you know what those are for. Seafood community is huge here. It's got me curious about having some scallops before I leave this town. I don't think we're gonna try those scallops for lunch, folks. Damn, that's a big lobster claw. That is crazy. Big business here, folks. Holy cow, those are good. Folks, I think I just had probably the best lunch I've had, and I don't know when. Oh man, Digby, man, come up here. It's an hour's drive from Yarmouth. It's so worth it. Eat at the Fundy restaurant. I'm telling you right now, you won't be disappointed. It's waterfront. You've got a view on the deck of the bay there. And the best bacon wrapped scallops. These are the best I've ever had. With a really good cranberry type salad. It was like a bed of spinach with some shrimp on the side with it. It was reasonable, man. It's before the tip, it was like $26 US. 36 with the tip US, which is about 50 Canadian. That's reasonable for that good of a meal. That was nothing cheap, nothing shy. It was very nice, very good, amazing scallops. You can't beat it. That you can't. So another 5-star. Come up the highway to a town called Digby and come get their scallops. Come eat dinner there. I think for dinner we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to Rudders there in Yarmouth because they referred me to that. I think we'll see what Rudders is all about there. It's right there on the main street. Actually, it's Main Street right there in Yarmouth. So that's pretty cool. I think we'll head back towards Yarmouth. This is beautiful. I was looking to do another hour down that peninsula and go to that Briar Island, but again, that and Halifax can be on another trip here because I would love to come back. It's so beautiful up here. It's great just to be able to get away and relax. The weather is beautiful. It's not humid. It's not hot. That's what I love about this. In the wintertime, it's a different story. I bet it gets cold as can be up here in the winter. Snow out the wazoo. And so these people live here are used to it, but man, better know how to deal with it. But the summertime, it's beautiful. It really is. So, I may have to hit Tim Hortons again for another cup of coffee. Usually that's all I drink anymore is coffee and water, and that's all I do. Or drink tea maybe. I don't, it's all decaf mostly. It's not caffeinated, so. Props to Tim Hortons, folks. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The cream. I've got to find out more about the cream that they have here. I can find it where I live there in South Carolina. That 18%. I need to find out more about that because that really, these last 2 cups didn't have to put any stevia in it. I enjoyed the coffee without the stevia because of the right amount of creamer. It's 100% dairy creamer, which is not bad, so. Alrighty, let's see what else we can hunt down here today. It's been a great trip. Love it.
You go, let's get one of these too. Derek, I did.
This Rudders Restaurant and Brew Pub here on the main street of Yarmouth. Pretty cool. Oh me! Well, I had to do that again, round 2 for dinner. So I hit the place called Rudders here in Yarmouth on Main Street. It's good. I don't think it was as good as lunch, though. That restaurant for lunch was amazing. I think the scallops were better there than Rudders, but they were good. The salad was good. There was a little too much vinaigrette dressing in the salad. I could have probably gone with something else, but that's okay. It's a change up. She was suggesting chicken in the salad. I said, we're at a seafood place. Throw a little shrimp on there. She said, oh yeah, good choice. Good choice. So, when in Rome, it's a seafood community. You want to try it. You want to see how it's cooked and how everything's done. So, they do a good job here, man. You got plenty of places to eat and stuff to do. So, would I recommend Yarmouth, Nova Scotia? Yes. Now, I didn't hit Halifax and some other stuff. I'll leave that for the next time. Because the next time I may bring an RV van and drive it from the States up. If it'll fit on that ferry. I said on the last video that, not the last video, I guess it would be when I took the cat ferry, but that video, I said, I don't think a van will fit, but it might. It might on the lower deck. I'm not sure. Big RV? No. I did see somebody with a car pulling like a pod camper, like those little round teardrops, and it rolled right up on there just fine. So, but we'll just leave some for next time because I would love to come back. It's beautiful up here. It's good to get out and see that stuff. So there's still other places that I haven't hit in New England we probably could in the future. So it'd be cool. So would I recommend Nova Scotia? Oh, you bet. And you need to come up and see this place. It's beautiful. Come up. Best time usually to come up is right after Labor Day. Kids are back in school. No offense to the kids, but it's quieter because all the vacationing is eased off. It's a quiet time right now. It's not as overrun with a bunch of people, and probably coming on a weekday instead of the weekend, maybe a little quieter. You can get around. It's easier to park. The ferry from Maine is not as overrun if you take a weekday. Like yesterday, it was quiet. It was less than half the capacity. And going in the morning back to Maine probably won't be that busy. It'll be pretty cool. And watch that video, too, about the ferry to Maine and from Maine to Nova Scotia. It is really cool. It's a cool vessel, man. It really is. And a good way to get over here if you don't want to drive it all the way from the U.S.-Canada border, which from Bangor, Maine to Yarmouth, Nova Scotia here is 7 hours drive. It's about 6 from the border of Canada. 3.5 is what we made it on the ferry. But you cut across the bay there and it's out in the ocean. It's a nice ride, it really is. The guy at the bar was like, oh, it's going to be rough. I'm like, hell, I've been on a million cruise ships. This isn't rough. It was smoother than a cruise ship. I mean, you got a lot of swaying and movement, and if you're sitting down with your eyes closed, it feels like you're on an airplane, but you feel that on a cruise ship, and it's going slower than 40 miles an hour. That thing is cooking at 40 miles an hour with all those cars on it and people, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, that's Yarmouth, Nova Scotia. In the morning, we head out on the ferry back to Maine. And from there, I got a map out. I want to go to Stowe, Vermont, and we're going to go to Littleton, New Hampshire, and then we'll start heading back south again, so because I need to be back home around the 13th or 14th. Got things to do in a week to prepare before I go to my music conference in Los Angeles at the end of the month. So that's that in a nutshell, my friends. It's all in an adventure. See you on the next one. Thank you.